Okay, welcome back to me. I've been gone for some time, and I sent you a message. Not too sure that it initially got through. You may have gotten a couple of copies of it, but we're back on track. Everything's fine. I'm okay, and I had a marvelous occasion of a master teacher seminar that ran the entire week, and so now I'm catching up. But here are your critiques for your self-introduction videos. Point 1, please read all of the directions on the speech. Biggest offense on this speech is every speech, with an exception, and you'll see that later, requires 2 outlines, a speaking outline and a preparation outline. Some of you didn't give me either, some of you only gave me one, and almost every one of you failed to label, if you gave me 2, which was which. I can't guess which you meant to be which, so you've got to label everything you send me according to what it is. Point number 2, we have told you you are not to submit anything to this class anywhere other than you upload your speeches to Connect. You send me any paperwork from your email address to my email address. Do not post any outlines, anything else in Connect. We've said that, and we've said that, and we've said that. It's in the syllabus, it's in the announcements, and some of you are not going to get credit in the future if you submit an outline in Connect. And if you send me a message in Connect, I've told you I don't look anywhere but in my email for messages from you. So keep that in mind. Let's get started. Bow or bow? I'm never sure which way that is. Only sent me one outline. You have the wrong shot. I can't even see your face as you're speaking. You turned off the camera before the speech, after the audience introduction. Never, 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 once you start your speech, once the audience starts coming through, ever turn off the camera. That is to run from the time you introduce your speech until you finish your speech. I need to see your audience. I need to know they're still in the room because they haven't left after you introduce them, and you're going to splice in the audience each time. That's a big, big no-no. Do not do that. It's very hard to hear you. You stopped the camera during your speech. You also seem to have you seem to have a conversational style, but you need to conform to all of the requirements for your videos when you do it. So work on that conversational style. I don't want you to speechify to me. I want you to tell a story. And you only submitted one outline. We already talked about that. Next up is Danny, whatever that is supposed to be. D-A-N-Y. Let's see if I can find that real quick. And watch. I won't be able to find it in time to do this right. At any rate, you have a very nice facial expression when you speak, and that's a huge plus. So make sure you keep that up because that's really wonderful. You need to tighten up a little bit on your camera shot so that there's only an inch or 2 above the head and essentially the bust line. That's the only shot I want to see. Quit swaying your shoulders when you speak. That gets to be just a little bit annoying. Stand still. You know, occasionally you'll move and you've got some animation, but not the constant swaying of the shoulders. All right, work on your contact with the camera. I know you got an audience there and an audience there, but talk to me because I'm the one that puts the grade down. Your audience should all love you already, so you know, you really want to work with me. You have the little tisk sound. It's not that big, but you want to avoid it. And smooth out your flow. In a speech, it's not one sentence, then another sentence, then another sentence. Think in terms of paragraphs, which is a paragraph comprised of several sentences, and think of your speech the same way. I have a paragraph, then I'm going to do a transition to another paragraph, but not sentence, 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 sentence. Paragraph, transition, paragraph, and it'll come off much, much smoother when you do it that way. Next up is Irish, and Irish, you very nice appearance. You might smile a little bit more when talking about pleasant things. When you talk about something pleasant, show it facially also. You could be a little bit tighter on the camera shot. Remember, an inch or two above the head, bust line. Work a bit to bring a little more energy into your speech. Sometimes you're just kind of quiet and a little bit matter of fact, but you need to have some enthusiasm, which I interpret also as energy. Excellent eye contact, and a nice smile at the end of your speech. Again, only one outline, and it was unlabeled, so I don't know whether it was a speaking outline or preparation outline. Next up is coffee. Coffee, nice appearance, pleasant approach to what you did. Back off a bit on the camera shot. You're a little too close, so back off just a little bit. Your color is something wrong with the color on your camera. It was more washed out as we say in Bloomington, washed out as we say in when I was a kid. And you lost some of the color in your camera. Watch the little light tisk, again, not big, but you want to be careful of that. Watch the subtle hair flips. You kind of do that on occasion, and you're not doing the gross thing, but watch that you're not touching yourself. Don't touch your hair while you're speaking. Again, your outlines were not labeled at all, and they need to be labeled. Next up is Aquaman. Aquaman, nice appearance and style. You have the wrong shot composition, too much headroom, too much up there. Contrary to the instructions, you have a very bright light over your left shoulder, which is causing your iris on your camera to give you a kind of a dark appearance. Don't leave comments in Connect at the bottom of the speech. Don't you do that. That's for me to do, and I don't need to see your comments. I make the comments. So if you have something you need to say to me, send it to me in an email. Let me do the judging. Plus, they're very distracting when the video is going along and I see a comment come up. Work on your energy, too. You sound a little bit like you're doing kind of a stage whisper when you talk to me. And when you do that, I can hear you, but there's no energy there. And so I need to hear your school voice, and I can hear you, and I can tell that you've got enthusiasm and all kinds of things like that. All right, next up is Snoop. And Snoop, nice appearance, nice voice, wrong shot. Never sit while you're speaking. Never, never, never sit. You're talking down to the camera. You know, you're looking down at the camera. Camera should shoot straight in. You should look straight out. All right. You had a very abrupt ending. You need to be more conversational. You need to have connections from your flow. They're lacking right now. It was just a collection of sentences and no paragraphs. You have too many ums, and there was only one outline not labeled, and it was posted in Connect. Next up is heat. Heat, I can't see your face. I can't hear you or understand anything you say. The mic is on the camera, and the camera is on the other side of the room. You're in front of windows. I have no audience information because I see some people sitting there with their backs to me. And you only have one outline, and you posted that in Connect. Next up is the person with no fantasy name. You will fail this class for failing to submit your fantasy name. And if I don't have it by this week, then you may as well withdraw from the class. Wrong shot. It's out of focus. I can't tell if your eyes are open. There's too much ambient room noise. You giggled in your speech in spots. There was no evident organization, no outline, and stand still when you speak. Next up is, what is this? Circle. Circle, the camera turned off after your intro. No, never, never, never. Never turn the camera off once you start to introduce your audience until you finish your speech. It's hard to hear you. Again, the mic is too far away. It's on the camera. There is too much headroom in your shot. There's too much ambient room noise to hear you distinctly. You need a tighter camera shot, and way too much headroom, only one outline, and you posted it in the wrong spot. Next up is Hoosier. Hoosier, you have a nice appearance. The camera was soft focused. Don't start talking until you stop moving into the picture. So you don't want to be doing, today I want to talk to you about, well, stop for a second. Move in, pause for a second, then start. All right? You have a strange cloth taped in the background on something. Why? Slow down a little bit. Relax. You look stiff. You also look like you're leaning on something as you talk because you're leaning forward. Keep strong eye contact with the camera. You might try to be a bit softer, and that will make you thus that much more conversational. You have an extremely abrupt ending, like you were cut off in mid-sentence. You have a somewhat interesting story, but there was details left out, like, for instance, what foreign countries were you in? Your outlines are not formatted properly, and you might want to take a look in your textbook to see how you're supposed to do that. Next is Voto. Nice appearance. Tighten up on the camera shot just a bit. Nice conversational approach. Well done. Nice style. Great. What is this? Great promise as a speaker. And make sure you follow all of the requirements. You only submitted one outline. Next up is Pacers. Good appearance. Work on the flow a little bit. You have too many dead pauses. You want to keep that moving. Your video that you submitted is badly out of sync. It's about 3 seconds off with what your lips are doing and what I'm hearing. So we want to talk about that. You might give me a call in the office. We'll talk a little bit more about that. You need, you're shooting up into your face. Don't do that. And the shot is straight. Your shot needs to be straight in. Fix the camera shot, the top of your head to the bust line. We've talked about that. Check the format for both outlines. Make sure you do that properly. Next up is Pants. Good appearance. Too much headroom in your shot. Who is Laura Ingalls? Now, when you quote somebody or you talk about somebody, make sure your audience knows who you're talking about. Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls, she was the one that, help us understand that. Don't just drop a name on us. When you quote, make sure that we have that. Work on your flow just a little bit. It's not just a collection of sentences. You need to be conversational. Careful about bouncing your shoulders, and also watch the crack in the door frame behind you. You may want to move just a little bit so that you're on a plain background behind you. Also, when you use names in quotes, tell us who they are. Excellent job on the outlines. Next up is Boombox. Too short in length on this particular speech. You have the wrong camera shot. It looks like it was handheld. It's bouncing far too much to be able to watch. It's hard to see your eyes. You need more light on your face. Slow down. You talk too fast. You're reading your speech. Work on to be conversational. It was a very abrupt ending. Label your outlines, whether it's a speaking outline or a preparation outline. But they were okay, but your speech was too short. Next up is Binky. I need an explanation, ADA explanation, for why you are sitting instead of standing as required in this class. I need that in writing. Please send me something. Not enough light on your face. You seem to be reading, and you also seem to be very detached as you talk. It's your speech. Make it you when you talk. I only have one outline, and it was not labeled, and your speech ran far, far too short. Next up is Gabrielle. You have the wrong camera shot. Your head is cut off. You were smiling when you were speaking about an amputation. Maybe it was funny, but it didn't come off that way in your speech. You have too much room noise, distracting from your speech. There's no flow, no connection to your stories that you're telling. You're shooting up into your face. At times you seem to get lost in your own speech. You giggle inappropriately for no apparent reason, and you need to slow down just a bit. Work on being conversational, and you only submitted one outline. Next up is Wildcat. Wildcat, nice appearance, too much headroom. You started your speech with first off. That's not a good beginning for a speech. First off, let me tell you about. No, don't do that. You can work on that and be better than that. Work on flow. Try to be conversational. You did a nice job. Keep improving on what you're doing. You have interesting stories. Work a little bit in the telling of those stories. Remember, paragraphs, not sentences, and you only submitted one outline. And finally, we have Jinx. Jinx, you didn't follow the rules on introing your audience. I can't see you, and I can only barely hear you. I couldn't prove you were the person giving the speech from your photo ID because you're so far away that could have been anyone standing there. Your speech ended abruptly in mid-sentence. You only sent one outline, and it was not properly labeled as to whether it was a speech outline or a preparation outline. Also, your next speech is going to be your process speech. Please read the directions. It is to be a 4 to 6 minute speech. There are 100 points in this speech. You need at least 6 people in an audience. You need a speaking outline, and you need a preparation outline. You need to think about visual aids. You need to think about sources. And remember, in a kind of a process speech, think of a cooking show. You never see them take the flour and put it in a measuring cup. When they're ready for the flour, they say you put in a cup of flour, you put in a tablespoon of this, a teaspoon of this, half a cup of this, and they just dump it. It's already prepared. Process speech should be that. Also in a process speech, when they finish and they say you put it in the oven and you bake it for 400 hours at 700 degrees, and when you finish, it looks like this. Show me what it looks like at the end. Okay? We'll talk to you next time. Sorry about the little disruption this week. We'll be back on track. And take a look at all of this before you finish your process speech. All right. Take care.